Class 7th. Subject: Social Science. Lesson 3. Atmosphere and temperature. The existence of mankind and other living beings have only been possible on the Earth because it is surrounded by a cover of air. This cover is known as atmosphere, and it extends up to 1,600 kilometers in height, while 99% of the air is found at height of up to 32 kilometers only. This atmosphere, interacting with lithosphere, land, and hydrosphere, water, is responsible for creating and maintaining of plants and animal life on the Earth. The elements of atmosphere, temperature, humidity, atmospheric pressure, and winds affect the physical environment of the Earth. Out of all the elements of the environment, atmosphere experiences maximum changes. Elements, spheres, of atmosphere: air temperature, humidity, water content in air, atmospheric pressure, weight of the air engulfing the Earth, etc., are the elements of the atmosphere. Composition of atmosphere: the atmosphere consists of gases, water, vapors, and dust particles. Heavier components like dust particles and water vapors are found only in the lower layers of the atmosphere. As we go higher in the atmosphere, the density of gases goes on decreasing. Nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide constitute 99% of the atmosphere. All other gases account for less than 1%. The contents of water vapors and dust particles vary from place to place as determined by the degree of temperature. A sample of pure dry air in the atmosphere contains gases in the following proportion. Gas. No of quantity. Nitrogen, 78.03%. Oxygen, 20.99%. Argon, 0.94%. Carbon dioxide, 0.03%. Hydrogen, 0.01%. Nitrogen mostly circulates in the lower layers of the atmosphere and checks destruction of the plant life. Oxygen is the second important gas that supports animal and human life. Carbon dioxide is the third important gas and is as essential for plant life as oxygen is for animal life. It also acts as blanket and does not allow the heat to escape. Water vapor. The water vapors also have an important place in atmosphere. They help in change of climate. Pollution of air. Every year millions of tons of substances are added to the atmosphere which are not natural components. These foreign substances in the atmosphere are called air pollutants. There are two kinds of air pollutants: solid and gaseous. Volcanoes, most common source of pollution in the atmosphere. Human activities also add large amount to solid pollutants to the air. Particularly in cities, smoke from the burning of fuels release carbon particles, coal, and other solids into the air. Industries release dust particles in the air on a large scale through various operations. Asbestos is a dangerous form of solid pollution. One of the most dangerous sources of gaseous pollution is exhaust materials of the automobiles. It adds carbon monoxide to the air in areas of heavy traffic and is very poisonous. Nowadays we also talk about some combination of natural fog and smoke called as smog, which is a mixture of substances that cause serious health problems. Low-level ozone is an effect of air pollution caused by heavy traffic and industries, particularly in industrial areas where many people live and work. Laws have been passed to control the sources of air pollutants. But we ourselves have to be aware in this regard to combat pollution of air. All these gases hold the suspended particles of dust, carbon, salt, pollen grains, but only in the lower layers of atmosphere. Structure of atmosphere. In the previous decades, enormous knowledge has been collected regarding atmosphere by sending satellites in the space. On the basis of this knowledge, atmosphere may be divided into following layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere. Troposphere. The lowest layer of the atmosphere is called troposphere. Atmosphere is oval in shape with average height of troposphere is 12 kilometers. It is higher at the equator, la 16 to 18 kilometers, and lower at the poles to 6 to 8 kilometers. The entire weather phenomenon takes place only in this layer, i.e. rainfall, storms, clouds, typhoon, etc. The contents of water vapor are also high in this layer. As we go high up, the temperature decreases. The temperature decreases at the rate of 6 to 5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. The 75% of all the air is present in this layer. Stratosphere. Above the troposphere layer, the second layer of the atmosphere is called stratosphere. The height of this layer varies with seasons and latitudes. During summers it begins at a greater height than during the winters. Its height at the equator is about 15 kilometers. But above the 60 latitudes and beyond it is 10 kilometers. The main characteristics of this zone are rarefied air, low but constant temperature, and general absence of clouds. Therefore, there are no convectional current in this zone. The thickness of stratosphere is almost 50 to 55 kilometers. This zone is ideal for flying of aircraft. The ozone gas in this layer absorbs the ultraviolet rays of the sun, which are harmful to the human life on the Earth's surface. The upper limit of this layer is known as tropopause. This usually begins at 50 kilometers height of the atmosphere. The temperature in the layer neither increases nor decreases. It remains constant. Mesosphere. The layer above the tropopause is mesosphere. This layer extends up to 50 kilometers to 60 kilometers. The temperature in this layer goes on decreasing with the rise in height. The temperature at 80 kilometers height is 90 degrees Celsius. The upper layer of the mesosphere is called as mesosphere limit. Beyond this limit of atmosphere, the temperature starts rising. Thermosphere. Beyond the mesosphere, the layer of atmosphere is called as thermosphere. Temperature starts rising as we go high. There are much less contents of gases in this layer. The lowest limit of thermosphere is known as ionosphere, which extends up to 100 kilometers to 300 kilometers. It contains electrically charged particles which help in the reflection of radio waves back to the Earth and are much of value for wireless communication. The upper limit of this layer is called exosphere. We do not have much knowledge about this layer, but it is considered to have the gases with low density like hydrogen and helium. Weather. By weather of a place is meant by the condition of the temperature, atmospheric pressure, rainfall, speed, and direction of the wind of a place for about 24 hours. These conditions change from day to day. Climate. It is the average of weather conditions of a place over a long period, generally of 30 to 35 years. It depends upon various factors, as the latitudes, altitude, distance from the sea, prevailing winds, ocean currents, cloudiness, rainfall, and slope of the land, and other geographic conditions. Temperature. The heat of the air is called temperature. Similarly, the internal heat of a good or living being is also called temperature. The temperature increases or decreases, and same type of variation in day and night temperature is also there. Similarly, the temperature varies with change of season. The temperature differs from place to place, hence the weather conditions of one place differ to that of weather conditions of other place. Although there are so many factors that affect the weather of a place, but temperature of the air is one of the main elements. There are only two sources of temperature that heat the Earth: sun and internal part of the Earth. Out of these, the sun is more important. The insolation, heat from the sun, primarily heat the surface of the Earth, then heat the atmosphere. There are so many factors that affect the insolation received at a place. Before knowing about the other factors, we must know how to measure the temperature. The temperature is measured by thermometer. It is demarcated in degrees. For measuring the temperature, two units are used. One is Celsius and the other is Fahrenheit. According to the Celsius unit of measurement, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius and freezes at 0 degrees C, and according to Fahrenheit measurement, water boils at 212 F and freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Factors affecting the temperature. Following are factors that affect the temperature of the Earth. Latitude. The temperature of a place depends upon how much insolation it gets. The rays of the sun fall directly on the equator, therefore the temperature is high over there. But as we slip away from the equator, the temperature goes on decreasing because the rays of sun fall slanting on the poles. Height above the sea level. When we go higher above the sea level, the temperature starts falling. Insolation that is received on the Earth is primarily heat the surface of the Earth. Then the atmosphere gets heated, thus the places near the surface or lower in height are hotter than the places at higher in height. This is the reason, when we go up to hillside, the temperature decreases. Distance from the sea. There is a moderate type of climate near the sea. It means that the temperature neither extremely high nor extremely low. But as we go away from the sea, the range of temperature increases. The texture of Earth's surface. Which type of the vegetation is there? Whether the Earth's surface is covered by ice or is a dry desert. These are the factors that affect the distribution of temperature. Where the Earth's surface is covered by ice, the reflection of sun rays occurs, which causes the low temperature. In dry areas there is high temperature during the daytime, because sand gets heated easily. Where there are dense forests, the temperature neither shoot up extremely high up nor fall down extremely low, but it remains the moderate. Slope of the land. Slopes facing the sun have higher temperature as they get the sun rays for a longer duration than those facing away from the sun. The sunny slopes have higher temperature. Clouds and rainfall. Places having cloudy skies and rainfall have lower temperature than those without these. Clouds obstruct the free fall of sun rays, thus lower the temperature. After rainfall, the water vapors are present in the air. They absorb the heat of the air. Ocean currents. The areas where the hot water ocean current passes, that raises the temperature of the area. The temperature lowers down where the cold water current passes. You will study in detail regarding the oceans in the following chapter.